Welcome. We're back coming at you with another Advance Wars by Web replay review, and we've got an exciting tournament game here. This is from round 2 of the Quack Cup, which of course I got eliminated in round 1, but that's it's whatever. But anyway, we have an actual good player here to teach us all the ins and outs about tag and fog and teach me a little more about fog because I have zero clue as to how to play fog, as you saw in that last video. So anyway, without further ado, here is Bogaes, who picked Blue Moon in this map. So I'm really glad to have you on, dude.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Yeah, I got a lot of questions like, oh, how do you pronounce your name? I usually say Bogaes, but I don't really count.
Okay.
I don't really care. Like, either way is fine.
I just
Takes a bunch of random letters, right? So,
yeah, I just said it confidently, and that's what matters.
yeah.
So this is Division 1 or 2?
Division 1. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
I don't
not
know if
happy
I
to be in Division 1, but
okay.
it is what it is.
I don't know if I said Division 2 earlier, but it's round 2, Division 1. And it's like a weird CO pick because it's like some Tier 2, or the Global Damage Tier 2, Javier, and Tier 4 are allowed. And it's like fog tag, so you got some wild matchups here. For example, Dark Raider, your opponent picked Javier. Units gain 20% defense against indirect units. Each comm tower grants all units on an additional 10 defense. And defense is just so busted in this game. Like, that means they need, I think, 130% attack in order to guarantee two-shot infantry on cities with 2 infantry. And, like, same with tanks. So it's really hard to wall break. Actually, have you seen this? This is like plugging a extension here, but it like let's see, like this thing, the KO chart.
I haven't seen that, but yeah, those are definitely helpful. Yeah, so it's actually worse than what you mentioned.
Oh,
So
okay.
baseline, if you're CO with no increased defense, you need 20% firepower to break 100% chance to break 30% defense terrain. So 2 infantry to clear infantry on a city, you need 20% firepower. Now, if your opponent has 30% defense or 10% defense and they're on a city, you actually need 140% firepower to 2-hit KO.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 10% defense on cities is ridiculous. It's basically impossible to hit KO with 2 of the same unit from full HP. Um, so yeah, and this map, of course, there's only 1 comm tower, so I'm only getting really to 110% firepower.
That's true. Yeah. So that's the power of defense, and then Javier's paired with Sami. Foot soldiers gain 30% attack and a 50% capture point bonus rounded down. Other direct units lose 10% attack. And then, I forgot to talk about Javier's powers. This is like the normal scatterbrain level of my videos. Double time, or sorry, that's Sammy's. Where's Javier's? I guess it's
It's
not
just
showing.
glitched. If you go like forward a turn and then back a turn, it'll get
Oh,
back
okay.
the
But
bar. But
Javier's got Tower Shield, which doubles all of his day-to-day powers. So 40% indirect defense and 20% for comm towers, and then like doubles the comm tower attack as well. And then Tower of Power makes the comm tower bonus 30%, and I think it makes that indirect defense 60. So basically, you pop the super, then his indirect, or like his army's like totally immune to indirect units, which is kind of nice. But usually, just popping the power is better. And then Sammy, she's got double time, which now it shows Javier's powers because I'm talking about Sammy. Um, Double time, which increases her foot soldier movement by 1 and increases their attack, and victory march, which increases her foot soldier movement by 2 and increases their attack and allows them to capture properties instantly. And then I'll ask why you picked the COs you did and kind of what your thoughts are going to this matchup, but let me just introduce their powers. We've got Drake. Naval units gain +1 movement and +10 defense, but we won't really see a whole lot of those. You got these ports just on land, so I guess you could like base lock with a battleship if it came down to it, which might be like a Sammy strategy. You victory march to the port and then build a battleship. Um, but anyway, that's pretty much the only naval unit. Air units lose 30% attack, unaffected by rain except vision, And in fog, rain reduces your vision by 1, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So is that? Well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But that's why you picked like Drake over someone like Olaf because of that vision.
Well, Olaf was actually banned.
Oh, okay.
I would have picked Olaf over Drake if he wasn't. But
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought Olaf was not. I thought it was like global damage COs were not banned. So my bad. I didn't make it to this round though. So I mean, I don't know for
well,
sure.
I'll
I
send you the
just
COs, but I'll talk about it in a minute here.
okay. Um, and then we got Tsunami deals 1 damage to all enemy units and drains half their fuel and ammo. And then we've got Typhoon, which deals 2 damage to all enemy units, drains their fuel and ammo by half, and turns it to rain for a turn, which we were talking about -1 vision in fog, and also +1 movement point on plains and forests for tanks, treads, and recon wheels movement types. And then we got Jake. I'm sure you picked these two just because they rhymed, Drake and Jake. But Jake gets a 10% attack power bonus on planes, which there are a lot of planes on this map. Always a solid ability. And then Jake's normal power beatdown increases indirect range by 1 and increases the planes bonus. And then Block Rock increases indirect range by 1, increases the planes bonus, and increases vehicle movement by 2. Ground vehicle movement, that is. So, can you walk me through like this CO matchup, why you picked these, and like how you're going to counter your opponent's pick?
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, the COs were kind of weird for this round. So, the primary CO, the main ones you would think about are Javier, Max, Drake, and then maybe you could make some play for Andy, Kindle, or Rachel. But realistically, almost everyone picked Javier, Drake, or Max. And why you might pick one of those three are really depending on how you want to play the map and kind of who your tag CO is. And then the tag COs are basically just tier 4 fog. So we have Adder, Flack, Grim, Jake, Jess, Jugger, Cole, and Sami. So 2 things that stand out from those 2 lists are, first off, Javier is the only tier 1 fog CO that you're allowed to pick as a primary CO. The only tier 2 fog CO is Max. So basically, you could pick a tier 1 or a tier 2, and then anything else, Drake, Andy, Kindle, Rachel, those are all tier 3. So why would you even consider those over Javier, the obvious pick, tier 1, or Max? Okay, maybe you don't want to go Javier, but you would go Max, he's tier 2. Well, the reasoning is, how are you going to play this map? So first off, why is the tier 1 even allowed? Why is Javier even allowed? Alagatua gave a good breakdown of this in his video. But Javier is actually a very bad tag CO. So he's excellent as a CO. Obviously, he's tier 1 for a reason. But he is not good for tags. The main reasoning is, when you use your power, you obviously don't get any charge anymore, right? When no powers are active, your primary CO gets full charge, and your secondary CO, the one that's tagged out, gets half charge. So if your primary CO gets 1,000, your tag CO is going to get 500. Now, normally, when you use your power, you won't get any charge on your opponent's turn, right? Because your CO is active, your CO power is active. You get no charge from anything that happens, whether you get hit or whatever. But in tags, you can actually swap COs at the end of your turn, which turns off your power and now allows you to get charge again. Albeit your primary CO is now going to be your tag, so it's going to get half as much. But your tag CO is now your primary, and they're going to get full charge. So why is Javier bad on tags? It's because his power, as you mentioned earlier, it gives him doubles his comm tower bonus, plus he gets the flat 10% for just using a power. So if he has 1 comm tower, he goes from 110, 110 110 firepower from the comm tower bonus, 110 defense from, or 10% defense from the comm tower and his passive, his day to day. But when he powers, he goes up to 130 firepower and 130% defense, doubling it and then adding 10%. So when Javier is like sitting on a city, he's getting 3 terrain stars and then 30% defense on top of that. So he has 60% defense if he's sitting on a city with a power. You're not going to be able to hurt him at all. But his power is primarily defensive. If his power just gave him 30% offense, that's not very good. That's kind of a whatever power. Just make your units do. I guess it's actually only 20% more than what he was doing before, going up from 110 to 130. So gaining 20% offense and no movement, nothing else, that's not a very good power. The main benefit is the defense he gains. So it's actually really a defensive power. So he wants to use his power and stay in. If you use your power as Javier and then tag, you're kind of losing the entire point of being Javier and using your power. So Javier is a very selfish CO in tags. He basically wants to stay in the whole time. So if you're picking Javier, you kind of don't care about what your tag CO is because you're just probably not going to play as them at all. So that's why he's allowed. He's by far the worst tier 1 CO you could pick, but he's still a tier 1 CO and obviously very strong. Sami is also a standout for me. Sami, I think, is ridiculously strong as a tier 4 tag CO. I think this happened last tag tournament we had, and Sami was considered tier 4, and I think that's in general really bad because she's kind of an auto pick in tier 4 as your tag CO, just because she offers a lot of utility early, and then you can just ignore her late game, except for maybe like a victory march or something like that.
Okay.
So the main combos people saw was Javier Sami, just by I'm going to be Javier and be really strong, and then I'll be Sami maybe in the early game and late game victory marches.
Okay. I was kind of thinking like, Sami, you pop Victory March, and then you swap to Javier with that extra defense. It's a lot harder for them to get on the city. So you just take like a ton of territory right there. But that might not be the actual vision.
So the problem with that is, you have to play Sami a lot, play as Sami a lot to get the charge for the Victory March.
Okay.
So if you're playing as Sami the whole time getting that charge, you're playing as a legitimately tier 4 Fog CO. I only say she's better than tier 4 in tag. But if you're just playing as her on her own, not switching to Javier at all, you're playing legitimately tier 4 CO, and you're gonna be playing against a not tier 4, like Max, Javier, Drake, Andy, whatever. And you're gonna have a really bad time surviving to, I think it's like 81k charge is what she needs for her super. And then you can tag the Javier, sure, and you'll have 110% defense, but that's honestly not that huge, and it's actually the same amount of defense you would have if you stayed as Sami with her super active.
Oh, okay. That
So
actually makes sense. So
really
I was totally wrong in the vision.
And then hold on to them with that. Now that doesn't mean if you're playing Javier or Sami, you should never be Sami. Like, definitely use your super when it comes online. You can get good value from it. But for the bulk of the match, you're going to be Javier. You're not going to get that much power charge.
I got you. So the vision is like Sami early, and then when the fighting starts, just be Javier for the rest of the game.
Pretty much the entire game, except for when you get enough charge for super, which is probably going to be like after 3 or 4 Javier CO powers. And then you can go for Sami for 1 super, and then you're going to switch back to Javier and probably never ever be Sami for the rest of the game.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Which isn't necessarily terrible, right? A lot of people went Javier Sami. I think it's a very good combo, and it's actually what I was planning on being at first.
Okay.
So I was looking at what other people did just to get some ideas, like what's going on here. Some other combos that exist that I think are very good are, if you want to go really aggressive, you can go Max and either go Jess or Cole as your backup CO. So the idea being you're playing as Max almost the entire time. Then you CO power or super, get a big hit off, swap to Jess or Cole. They hit you back, and then you super again and get another big hit off, and then
Oh,
swap
okay.
back to max. And it's just like a double CO power whammy. You go Cole if you want to use copters a lot. You go Jess if you want to focus more on land vehicles. I think they're both very good.
That makes a lot of sense.
So then the third combo I saw, and this is the one I went with, and I actually got inspired because I looked at Rip's game, is Drake Jake. So obviously the main benefit they have in synergy is that their names rhyme, which, that just powers
Yeah.
scaling off the charts, right?
That's yes, exactly.
Um, but the real reason is, so Drake is just solid. He just has global damage. It's really good. This map is 22k income, so it's pretty reasonable. 22k income if all properties are capped and split evenly. So it's pretty reasonable to get a good amount of supers off as Drake. So if you're saying, okay, I'm going to pick Drake, then you want to think of like who's going to be your good tag. And I think there's really two reasonable tags. Because my tag CO, I'm only going to use for supers. Basically, the plan is I'm Drake, I get my super off, I tag to my tag CO, they super, and then I tag back to Drake, and it's going to be this kind of rhythm. So I'm not going to need my tag CO for anything other than a super. So I'm not playing as Jake, I'm not playing as Jess, I'm playing as Block Rock Jake or Overdrive Jess. That's it. And
Okay.
Block Rock Jake and Overdrive Jess are incredibly good COs, right? They're tier 4, but when they use their supers, they have insane strength.
Yes.
So my thought was I would go one of those two. And in hindsight, I think maybe Jess might have been a better pick as a secondary CO than Jake. Um, but it didn't matter too much. I went
Okay.
Jake for a couple reasons. The first is Block Rock's very good, and there's a lot of planes on this map. And the second is, as we talked about, as you mentioned, Drake copters are terrible. They get minus 30% firepower. Jake actually knows how to fly copters, and he has no penalties to his copters. And in fact, they can gain the bonuses for being on planes. So my thought was, if I need to index into copters, I can sit as Jake for a little bit if I have to.
I got you.
So those are my thoughts going in. So I went with the Drake Jake combo for a couple reasons. In that I think I can keep the income around 22k for me. Maybe I'll be down 21k to 23k. That's playable, but not anything worse than 20k to 24k. Just because this map doesn't actually have very many contested properties.
Yeah,
There are maybe 6 contested properties on the entire map.
I was looking and do you know the like map capturing plugin?
No, I actually never used it.
Oh, let me show you that one. I think it's a really good way of like seeing like what contested properties are. I forget what it's called. This is essentials with the KO chart, but I think this was like capture order and tank order or something.
Mhm.
Where you go to estimate, calculate all days, and then it shows like if you just try to make the most efficient to capture the closest properties to your bases, it shows you like what turn you would get each properties. And then these move planner icons are the contested properties. And then it also shows you the tank order down here.
Okay. So this is mostly accurate. However, I would say the two that is listing as contested are very much not contested.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, so the one on the right belongs to blue, and the one on the left belongs to red. Just
Okay.
because there's two bases. If there wasn't two bases, then sure it could be contested. But realistically, that's tenuous to hold for the other player, and you're probably never going to cap that.
Yeah, that makes sense because
Um,
that would be the weak side for for the one base, right?
yeah, exactly. Um, so the contested properties really are the 4 in the center.
Okay.
Um, and the 2 on the side. The one at 010, and at 28.
Okay. And it looks like this map could be potentially HQ rushy too. Because
So I
these.
think the HQ is honestly relatively safe. You have to be aware of it, of course. Like, if Sammy hides an infantry in that forest, and then super, and then you lose, right?
Yeah.
Totally can happen. But um, that HQ is actually kind of far for the two bases, right? And it's only 2 moves away from the one base, and also 1 move away from the airport. So you can always panic bomber by or panic copters. You're gonna have vehicles in range to interrupt probably. Um, you can even, I think, recon interrupt in 1 turn. Um, yeah, recon reaches in 1 turn. So it's not really HQ rushy, and in fact, it's really hard to push into that area just because you're going to be exhausting your reinforcement lines. And by the time you're going that far in, their units from their two bases probably can wrap around as well. They're probably already close to the center anyway, so they're not going to be that far removed.
I gotcha. That makes sense. I was like looking at my OBS interface for a second, and like I have your like webcam on the opposite side of my camera, so every time you talk, it looks like I'm like looking far away. All right, so let's get into this. While we're going through these a couple turns, I'm sure you're swapping just for the memes. Do you
So
have
I actually
any?
swapped to be Jake on purpose.
Oh, really?
So um, Jake is actually a better CO than Drake for day-to-day purposes, right?
Oh, that's right, because Drake doesn't have the a good day-to-day bonus.
Yeah, so Drake actually is purely negative, aside from, I guess, the defense on naval units and faster naval unit speed. But I'm not building any naval units, right? So there's no point in being Drake other than generating charge to use as super.
Right, and that's not really
And
worth it for infantry skirmishes.
exactly, like I'll get maybe, what, 500, 1,000 more charge if I'm Drake rather than Jake. And Jake has realistic chances of fighting things. Um, compare Jake to, say, Javier. I mean, obviously way worse CO, but Javier is going to have 10% more defense, and Jake's going to have maybe 10% more attack. So I can at least try and be somewhat competitive here. Um, so actually, yeah, I'm intentionally Jake just because he's actually a better CO for the capture phase
Oh,
before any
okay.
real fight
That
starts.
makes sense. This is a very much a learning moment for me. I have no idea how to play tags or fog. So I knew I was cooked going into the Quack Cup. But now I'm glad we have an actual smart player here to explain things.
Well, I make some brick plays this game too, so
Oh.
hopefully all the viewers can feel better about their play, and know that people make mistakes. It's part of the process, right?
Yeah. And then it's also good to see like Division 1 gameplay of like how like some of these smaller mistakes can be identified and punished. Because there's like people leave stuff hanging all the time, but there's also like minor positioning errors that a lot of like these top players can capitalize on, which is really good to like see how to actually like identify these small mistakes. But it looks like Red is being very aggressive, trying to get these contested cities by like city skipping these, which is.
Yeah, so I actually disagree with this.
Oh, really?
So that city should be his. I mean, it's contested, but like it's really hard for me to cap it. I think they just rushed it a bit too early. Remember, they're Sammy right now, so even if, let's say, they start capping this a turn or two later, even if I have something in range to interrupt it, I'm gonna have to hit it twice because he's Sammy.
Right.
So it's not really possible for me to stop those contested caps against Sammy anyway. So I think it's actually, you're sacrificing a bit of income, like you're sacrificing a net like 2K or something to do this. It's not a huge deal, but I think it's unnecessary.
I got you. That makes sense. Um, and then hopefully all the audio's balanced. We did some like sound check before, but if there's any audio issues, just let me know in the comments because I'm trying to make these as like as good as possible, but I know nothing about any of this. So is this like you is this recon like in a good spot? Like I kind of don't understand where to push up with recons in fog.
Yeah, so the recon, I think it's in a pretty solid spot. There's no way I can really punish that. I think I could have rushed to have built a tank last turn, but that tank can't reach it, and even if it could, it wouldn't have vision. Moreover, that's, like I said, firmly his property. So if I'm really going to be attacking him there, like that's just a bad idea. Attacking
I got you.
onto a city from a road, yeah, not
So
possible.
like
So
he's probably figuring like based on like his progress over here that if you had some like or whatever, like with the capturing and stuff, probably thinking, okay, like where could his vehicle be? And is like this square is like super safe. I kind of explained that really weird, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's a good way to think about how where stuff can be. Is look at where your stuff is, and then think, okay, my opponent probably has stuff around that same position. So then, if that's the case, don't put something where it can be punished if they did have something in that same mirrored position.
I got you. Yeah, you explained it a lot clearer than my brain dump there, but I'm glad we're on the same wavelength. And you went tank on the weak side, or no, that's your opponent went tank on the weak side. You're blue.
Yes, I think that's a good buy. Just because I'm probably going to be contesting him for those a couple cities there, and um, he's going to need to tank to deal with recons or infantry or whatever. Um, and I think he wants that tank on the recon on the strong side, basically to spy on those middle cities to make sure I'm not getting them.
Okay.
Um, to stop if I had like a weird cheeky cap going on, he would interrupt it for sure this turn. But I
Okay.
don't.
Okay. I got you. Um, yeah, because the recon does scout this, so if you did the same thing, like he could see.
Yes. I don't think I've seen anything noteworthy yet. Um, this is the first noteworthy thing I see. Is I see the recon come
Yeah.
forward there. So I know um, this was I think a day uh, 4 recon. Yeah, because that was the earliest he could have built it, and that was the only way he could get there in that time.
Right.
So I
You just
think it's
count the
highly
movement.
unlikely. Yeah, from the movement, it has
Okay.
to. The earliest you can build it is day 4, and the only way you can get there is 3 turns. So I know it was built on day 4, and because of that, I think he could have had a tank as backup. Um, but I thought it was highly unlikely you would go recon into tank on the same side while having no recon or tank on weak side.
I got you.
So I'm actually just gonna go swing on it. Um, it's not a huge deal to get the damage off on it from my recon, um, but I'm doing 2 things by doing that. The first is I'm bluffing that I have a tank coming in,
Okay.
which I don't. And the second thing is, even though I'm not going to hit it with a tank right now, um, the recon's go down to 7 HP, and Javier recons, I can't really one-shot them from full HP, so I need to weaken it so that way
I
it's not an
see.
effective waller later on.
I see. That makes sense. Okay, that makes a lot of sense actually. I was about to say because like this, like recons don't really do a lot against each other. So him being on a city versus you on a plains, like I think that's almost a winning engagement for him.
Yeah, DJs, if you're watching, please avert your eyes. It's not for you to watch. And I also do this because I'm gonna cap with my infantry there, and I really don't want him to interrupt it.
Right. Yeah. You don't have the tank in range.
Yeah, unless he does like a really bad interrupt, but like he's of course gonna sit on the HQ if he does that, and I'm like gonna do negative damage to him if he's sitting on the HQ.
Yeah.
So I'm bluffing that I have a tank ready to go. I'm gonna smack this recon if you stay in range. I built the tank last turn, I swear, bro. But I don't.
All right. Well, let's see okay. So They might think that the tank would be in these woods or maybe not these woods, but might be
They
in
probably
these
would think
woods.
it's where my infantry below the city is,
Oh, true,
or
yeah.
on the forest, next to the forest as
Because
well.
you could like theoretically like look at this thing's vision range and just put a tank outside there.
Exactly. Just park it right outside because, sure, he can move forward to reveal the tank, but then now he's moved forward and my tank can just hit him.
I gotcha.
Accomplishing.
So do you think it would be worth it for him to say go for this interrupt and then see if there's like a tank in the area, or he
No,
would need to get vision like over here in order to do that?
no. You definitely should not go in for an interrupt here. It actually would work out. I wouldn't be able to trap it, and he would get away with it.
Well,
But
okay,
the
yeah,
risk,
right. But if he thought there was a tank, even he just wanted him like make like get go for
oh,
information.
if my tank is in position to punish, it's so not worth.
Okay,
Because you just lose a recon to delay a cap for one turn. Um, and not only are you losing the recon, which obviously is not great for the funds fives, you're losing 4K funds for essentially doing like 1K in funds damage. Um, but you've also lost your only recon on your strong side here, right? You have
right.
literally nothing on your strong side that gives vision besides this recon. So you probably should just back it up to check for when I'm going to go ahead and capture these contested properties. Because again, I'm still not even capping them, right? My
Right.
inventory are only capping cities that belong to me, except for that one center property, which he doesn't see.
Okay.
So there's really no point in recon doing anything right now. The best I can do is delay my inventory by one turn, and you're risking losing the recon to do that. So it's just a bad gamble.
I got you. Okay. That makes sense. I that's what I was thinking too, but I just wanted to like get your thoughts on it because I have like zero idea how to play fog. I do kind of throw my recon, so I'm learning from that. And what do you think
Yeah,
about these
recons are
artillery
important.
buys?
Yeah, so I think this is a mistake by him.
Oh, really?
Um, so artillery are good, and they're good in fog, and I'm not going to build artillery because he's Javier, right? So I just do
Right.
like negative damage to him with my indirects, so I'm not going to buy any. Indirects are really good at stalling out a map and making a concerted push in an area. However, here, I want to stall out the map. He doesn't. The longer
Right.
this game goes on, the more advantaged I am.
Because you get more
So
Drake
I don't think,
supers.
because my supers are going to keep getting value and value and value repeatedly, the higher the unit value is, the more value my super is. So I want the game to go long. I want us to be even properties, sit there forever, and then I super a couple times and win the game.
Right.
He should want to be really, really aggressive in the early game because he's just better than me. He just has an extra 10% defense, and I have sometimes extra 10% offense. It's like nothing. I'm playing a tier 4 CO versus a tier 1 CO. He should try and get a 2 to 3K income lead, maybe even 4K, just by bullying me. I
I
think
got you.
all of these artillery should have been tanks or recons.
I got you. Okay.
Now these artillery do get value this game. You'll see them get value from some of my brick plays, but um, I think they could have just been tanks and they could have stopped me from getting caps.
I got you.
So
That
you'll see,
makes sense.
yeah. So you'll see that he's capping. It's not really a contested property there on the right.
This one?
Um, yeah, that pretty much belongs to him. Um, but I'm just gonna force a fight there. I don't like him doing that, and I'm gonna go ahead and clear that infantry.
Is there any
Um,
reason you did that?
Basically, I just didn't think he had stuff here.
Okay.
Because
Sorry, I didn't
recon
mean to
on
make
the
it
side.
sound like I was being a dick. I was
No, no,
just
no.
like trying to
You're
get you to
fine.
expand on your logic.
Um, I didn't like him capping that property, and I didn't want him to have it. So I figured I would interrupt it, and
That's
then he
fair.
probably would probably put a tank on the city, kill my recon, and that sucks. I lose 4K only for getting 1K. But then that delays the city cap by 3 turns, which kind of makes me back the 3K,
I see.
and I get some charge. So it's kind of an even trade if
I
I do
see.
that.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, sorry for my poor choice of words earlier. I didn't mean it like to sound negative.
No, it's good because there are sometimes I do things and it's like, do you have a reason for this? And it's like, no, I just, I just wanted to swing,
Well,
and I do have tank backup for it. So, um, if the tank doesn't go on a city, I can absolutely fight here. If the tank goes in the city, I cannot fight.
do you think that your opponent might think you have a tank in the woods or something like that, or a tank back here?
So I think they should anticipate that I would have a tank in reinforcement range, right?
Okay,
Um, just because that's, I believe, 3 turn tank reinforcement range, where that recon is. Um, and I think from the movement he knows that I built the recon um, 3 turns ago. So therefore, probably after that, I'm going to build not a recon. Typically,
gotcha.
you're going to build a tank to back up your recon. So you should
Okay,
expect a tank to be right behind it, which, if he sits in the city, that's not a problem. He's Javier. I can't fight a tank on a city. That thing has 40% defense. I'm going to be tickling it.
oh, okay, I gotcha. That tracks. Oh, going in for the interrupt over there,
I
and
think that's an okay interrupt.
okay,
It's not going to interrupt on its own, but it sets up for the infantry on the mountain and the infantry in the forest to come down to stop it next turn.
I see. But it is going to be a recon trade, and the artillery needs a spotter because it only has a vision of one. It can't actually shoot at anything that it can see.
Yeah, luckily he has a lot of infantry in range, so the artillery on the strong side usually can get good value because you're just gonna naturally have infantry around. And infantry aren't the best spotters, but they do have 2 vision, which is generally enough for the artillery.
I gotcha. Um, and going in for a shot there, and going in for the cap. And I'm thinking the artillery might go up here or something to cover the tank. Let's see where it goes. No. So,
So yeah, I don't think the artillery can.
oh
I guess it
really?
can go tucked really far behind, but then it would be revealed to me because my
Oh,
recon's
that's
alive,
true.
right?
Okay, yeah, that
So
makes
he could
sense.
do that and say, "Hey, don't fight me. I have my artillery here. I got a tank here. I'm gonna cap this city. You're not fighting this." So I think he should have done one or two things. He could have done
Okay.
just that, which would have been okay if he has the artillery backing up the tank. I can't fight. He gets that city. He wins the engagement.
Right.
The downside of that is he's now revealed he built an artillery there. So now
Okay.
I have more knowledge of where his stuff is.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
What I think he should have done is what he did here, putting that artillery in the woods, I think is fine. But the tank needed to interrupt from the city. I know it sucks he's not going to cap, but
Because you can get a free shot with
you're
planes.
not getting that city unless you back it up with the artillery. Um, yeah, so my tank's going to get a free shot here, which it's not the worst trade, but I can't even go for it if he's on the city.
Right, yeah. That makes sense.
And also, he has no tank backup for that tank. I think he's going to build one to have some going, but he has no tank chain
Yes.
immediately, so he just can't fight either.
Okay. Yeah, so
So
maybe there's a. Do you think he's trying to bluff a another tank in the area?
so he could, and honestly, even if he does have another tank, it's not the worst thing for me because I have tanks in the area.
Okay.
Um, and I'm like, we can fight like that. And you'll be trading down infantry, so then you won't get the city. Um, so yeah, he could have had tanks in the area. I didn't think he did just because of the recon on the strong side. Um, and notice I also do go in on the strong side to get some vision of things before I commit to attacking that tank. So this is not exactly a brick play because there's no way I could have known that artillery was there. And good
Right.
play by him to put the artillery to defend that infantry.
Yeah.
Um, so free recon for him. Good artillery positioning. Though it does leak that he built an artillery there.
Right.
And then notice where I hit that recon with my tank. So
Right here?
why did I put it there, right? I could have hit it on the left side, but I hit it on the right side. Why would I do that?
Um
Yeah, let's see if you can
from
figure it out.
this
Yeah.
side there's more likely to have a tank over here.
Exactly. So that if I'm on the plains there at what is that 6-9,
Yes.
then that is in 2-turn base range, and I'm probably gonna get smacked by a tank if I do that. If I'm
Right.
on the right side there, I'm not in 2-turn base range, so the only way I can get smacked by a tank from a strong side is if it's a 3-turn tank that kind of just sat in the woods waiting for me, which could have happened, but given the artillery's there, I think it's very, very, very unlikely.
I gotcha.
And my read was correct. He does have a tank ready to smack me, but luckily I made sure to put my tank outside of that reinforcement range.
Yeah, that's amazing. There's a lot of depth to that one simple concept, but yeah, counting in base ranges is super important. That's how you like see contested properties, and like it's how you estimate where things are coming out. And that's something I need to do more often. I kind of just eyeball it, which is not the strategy. Okay, so you go for the shot and the interrupts. Yeah, talking about that earlier, and have another follow up recon to replace this one, and
Yeah, luckily that recon at 1 HP, it's just as effective as a full HP recon right now, right?
right,
It gives me the vision just like it would if it was at 10 HP. It obviously can't fight anything, but he's not gonna go attack me in that woods, right? Like that's really far forward. He has to put one unit to reveal it and another unit to smack it, right? If it was sitting on plains, he probably would just send that 8 HP infantry and just kill it.
right,
Um, but it's in a forest, so he'd have to send like the 8 HP infantry forward and then the 5 HP tank, and that's just not a good trade.
right.
So
Yeah.
that recon is putting in work for me, just hiding in the woods, limping. Its tires are popped, but it's still got its binoculars and telling me what's going on.
Yeah, and like something that I don't have even in standard is good recon play. So this is actually good to watch. And thanks for being on and submitting the replay. Yeah, there's the artillery. Um, and it looks like I don't know if you. I guess you could still interrupt it. Because it got 3 capture points. Oh, with 10% defense though, I don't know if you could do
Yeah,
5.
it's not going to happen unless I'm going to sack both infantry to it, which again, I already know there's an artillery there.
Yeah.
So stack both infantry, they're both just going to die. And I also don't have vision. So I'd have to like use my tank to get the vision of the infantry, and that's just a bad idea. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then this, I think this is a good interrupt. You had 3 capture points left, and knocks it down to 2 HP. But it's giving up a tank shot, unless this one I think is in range. Yeah,
He's
so it'll
going
be
to chain
chain.
it, and I'm going to expect him to chain. So like it'd be really boneheaded of me to fight that tank because also I have no tank support for that tank, right?
Right.
So I can't fight into tank reinforcements.
Yeah, that all checks out, and then just backs off over here, uses the recon to clean up that infantry and join cap, and then the tank goes back to get healed, and then tank artillery backup. So I think just trying to bait your vehicles in, and then when your vehicles get the interrupt, then these tanks will roll in.
Oh yeah, I also want to mention I switched to Drake recently, basically because I'm essentially at my full income, right? I'm at 18K. I'm expecting to get to 22K. That's not a huge difference, so I'm mostly trying to build up charge at this point because we're going to be building 18K worth of units per turn. I need to get my Drake super going because I'm playing a tier 3 CO versus a tier 1 CO. So I
Right,
really need to get that charge.
right. And so when what that means like motivate or like going in to interrupt this with your vehicles, take out this infantry, and then get vehicle shots back. It's like a bad value trade, but also it gives you more charge. So it's like worth it for the income of the charge, or not
I have
really.
to do significant damage back at least, right? I can't like have no army and then get like a super off and say, "Ah, I got my super, I win," right?
Right.
If I have no army, it's not going to do anything. I'll lose. So I have to take close to even trades, and then my super makes it even or advantaged for me.
I
So
gotcha.
I can't do full yeet. I have to do tactical yeet.
Tactical yeet, yes, of course. That's what I do in Rocket League, just tactical yeeting and also tactical whiffing, totally on purpose whiffing.
Yep.
Knocking that recon down to 1 HP, using the 7 HP to take it out. So no winning the 1 HP recon fight
No,
there.
that's a risky prospect for very little gain, and I give up on interrupting that city. It's just not going to happen. Even if I can clear the infantry, he's just going to sit a tank on the city and hit me back, and it's not going to go well for me. So I'm not doing that. I'm keeping my tanks in reinforcement range. Also notice I built a anti-air last turn on day 9. Um, that was kind of the earliest I would expect him to build a copter, which turned out to be correct. He built a copter in day 10. Um, as a side note, Javier doesn't like copters as much as other COs. Um, and the reasoning for that's actually a little strange. So
Okay.
why would he not like copters as much as anyone else, right? Like his copters aren't any worse. They
Because
still
they don't
get 10%
benefit
from his.
as
Oh,
much
sorry,
from
go
the
ahead.
10% defense because they can't use terrain.
Exactly. So he does get his 10% defense on his copters, but like 10% doesn't do anything, right? Like doesn't really change the thresholds too much. The 10% defense is mostly busted from the compounding factors, right?
Right.
If you're, let's say, on 3-star terrain from a city, normally I'm doing 70% damage to you, right? Because you get 30% defense. But if you've 40% defense now, I'm doing 60% defense. Now 60% as compared to 70 is not 10% less, right? It's
It
like 15% less or so.
it's
So it's
multiplicative.
actually a huge factor. Defense gets better the more you have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So you want to be spending your money on more ground vehicles where they can benefit from that extra defense.
Exactly. So the copters, while they're just as good as any other copters, they're just not as good as like a tank is compared to someone else's tank.
I got you. So it looks like your opponent's at 18, but they're gonna get this one, they're gonna get this one, and this one. So it looks like your opponent is gonna be up one city. It's this one, which is remain neutral right here, which I think is good for you, right? Because you would expect your opponent to be up like more than just 1K of income because they have the better day to day, right?
Yeah, so a good rule of thumb is if you're playing against a global damage CO, you want to be up about 20% income.
Okay.
So you want to be, say, in this case, 24K to my 20K.
Okay.
Anything less than that, you're probably not going to win in the long term.
Okay, I got you.
So
That's a
I'm
good.
completely happy if he's 21 and I'm 20. That's perfect for me.
Yeah. Going for the interrupt over here kind of has to deny that income from you though. Cannot make it even. Um,
Yes.
but I'm sure that your opponent knows that you have all of these cities. And I don't. Did your opponent see this guy? I don't
I don't
know.
think he saw it. It was a weakened infantry that we were fighting, and I moved it to the right. So like I
Oh,
could have snuck some infantry in the fog there, but if I'm my opponent, I'm guessing that I don't have that capped, just from the amount of infantry he saw fighting and vehicles and stuff. So the infantry that would be capping would be the ones that would be capping the properties in the back. So and those are the ones that are just kind of arriving at this point.
right.
So if I'm him, I'm guessing I probably don't have it capped.
Okay.
But maybe I do, you never know for sure. But I definitely am down that center property. So, you know, it's tenuous for me to have that.
Yeah. And I don't know if that was a roll, but doesn't
Yeah,
get
I'm not
it.
sure. I don't think it really matters too much because he's not going to sit anything in that square. Um, I don't know if it was a roll. I'd have to check, but I guess I'm happy that it lived, but it's not a too big consequence.
I got you. And then I wonder what the artillery play is because you could put it here. Well, I guess you give up this though. There's nothing to
Yes,
protect
the
it.
artillery really can't move forward here because I'm going to have vision of it, and I can just full yeet my tanks into it, which actually would kind of work out okay because of his tanks in range. Um, but yeah, I think he kind of wants to lure me to fight here
Okay.
because he has a CO power almost ready, um, and he has a copter backing up, and he has a tank reinforcing, um, and that artillery has a very good bait. So look at that 8 HP tank. If
Right.
you want to hit that tank, where might you want to hit it from?
The city.
And what's going to happen if I hit it from the city?
Kablamo is gonna happen.
Yeah. So this is a dumb play I make here, not just from the artillery being there, which I don't know
Oh.
that it's there, But that tank on the right, on the left, sorry, the one on the bridge in the center-ish, that
Oh, this
is
one.
a two turn movement from that tank from the strong side. There is a very good chance he has a tank there.
Oh,
So I
okay.
should not put something in range of that, which I did by putting it on that city.
I got you.
So even if he doesn't have an artillery there, it's still just a bad idea. I should have hit it from the plains. Um, it's just a brick play, you know.
What about
But it
capping it,
happens.
or do you think that's like too aggressive? Like you
Attacking from the
fight
plains, I think, is fine.
as you
The
cap.
city
Okay.
is it's a bad idea. Even if the artillery is not there, it's still just losing trade for me because that tank on the bridge is probably there. Again, I don't
Okay.
know for sure it's there, but my guess is that he's going to have a tank there.
I got you.
And then another brick play here. The recon should have gone in first. There was no reason for me to hit the tank in before moving the recon. If I'm going to attack with that recon first so I can see what's there and get the
Oh,
intel, and then decide if I actually want to go through with the attack afterwards.
I see.
Now, there's nothing that I see from the recon that changes my opinion about if I want to attack or not, but things you can learn, right? I should have reconned first. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, make sure to cap your comm tower before you attack.
Right.
Make sure to recon move before you go for an engagement, because if you see something you don't like, which is don't fight here, then you just lose a recon. It's okay, better than losing your whole army.
Right. I
Brick play
got you.
number 2 this turn. Um, what is wrong with my anti-air positioning there?
It's it's within tank range if there's like a tank back here, right?
It's actually
Uh,
not
uh,
with tank range, but it's in tank range in a different kind of way. That
Wait, is
2 HP
this
tank
one, two,
straight up
three?
sees it.
Oh, it is seven. My bad. Sorry,
So
what'd
that
you
2 HP
say?
tank sees that anti-air.
Oh, so the copter
So
can dodge it.
yeah, so my recon sees the copter, right? I know he's a copter, and I'm thinking, okay, I need to put my anti-air in range to protect my tanks. Um, but I could have put it one space back, been outside of tank vision, and still protected my tanks. And I'm already not protecting my recon anyway. It's like, what's the point of putting it there? There's nothing worth protecting. Maybe that infantry, but like, he can get a hit off of my infantry with a copter. It's okay. There was no reason for me to reveal it.
I
So I'm just
gotcha.
screaming to him, hey, I have an anti-air. You shouldn't hit my tank with your copter. Like,
I
it's just,
gotcha. So it's just like
why
the
do that?
information war kind of thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I totally would blunder that too. That's what I have trouble with is like figuring out what my opponents can see. So I don't know how to like hide stuff.
Yeah, so here I just knew it because I could see the tank right away, and you can just check the vision range.
Okay.
Maybe he had like a recon hidden somewhere, but my vision's good enough to know he doesn't have recons. But yeah, I could have just not put it in tank vision range. So
Tanks
he's going to
have.
smack me really hard here. He's got 30-30 this turn. He's basically Superman. He's going to just destroy me.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
there's the artillery and the
yeah.
tank.
And then that tank gets a hit off. Like, it's just 9-3 trade. He gets a free recon hit because he knows where my anti-air is. There's no mystery. It's really bad, right?
Yeah, but it's. Oh shoot! I actually hitting the rewind button. Sometimes my like handles slip and I'm not even realizing when I'm like going through. Because I was like looking over here. Yeah, so this is actually really good for me though, like learning fog because like just that one piece of information made it a lot easier for your opponent to go in. So like, in my fog games, I can like try and like figure out how my opponents like what their vision's going to look like based on my formation by like kind of applying it, to this game or like extrapolating it.
Yeah. Yeah, because if I didn't reveal it, my anti-air either maybe wasn't there, or maybe it was on the right side, which actually was covering the recon. He's not sure. But if he sees my anti-air just straight up in vision, he's gonna guess he probably doesn't have a second one,
Right.
so I can attack right away. So I can't really fight him that well this turn because he's got 30% offense, 30% defense. He doesn't take any damage. So I'm going for like little dinky trades here, infantry fights. It's not gonna go well for me.
I think that's all you can do once that tower shield goes up. But you're having the power spike pretty soon with the rain.
Um,
And
ready for this brick play number two?
uh-oh. Oh no! Oh
So what
no!
did I learn last turn? He has an artillery in the forest. What am I
Oh
doing?
no!
Oh, surely he's not going to still have that artillery in the forest that just shot me last turn and I know didn't move. Yeah, this is
Maybe you're
not a
just
good.
sacking it for charge, right? That's. I'm just kidding.
All planned. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll plan. Oh, that 30% defense kept the tank alive.
Yeah, and then I go for the 7 HP trade. Honestly, I shouldn't have done that. Um, I didn't need that much charge, so probably should have just backed it off. And I definitely should not have done that tank engagement. But yeah, we'll say it's for charge. Last turn I built a cheeky Neo tank.
Yes, I was just
I
about to
actually
ask
even
you
had a
about
base
it.
book for it. So I need Neo tanks or at least medium tanks in this matchup. Because I cannot clear his tanks when he's Javier.
No,
There's
right.
just no way I can two-hit KO his tanks on cities. So if I'm going to break through walls, I need firepower, like Neo tanks or medium tanks.
Right.
And I'm going to go Neo tank here because it's a bit more mobile and it has more one-hit KO potential.
Right.
So that's why I went with that.
I think it can one hit KO tanks on planes, right? Even with 10% defense?
I'm not sure about that because I only have 110% firepower.
Okay.
Um, but I'd have to check.
But if you make it an 8, then it definitely can.
Definitely can, and I think it can one shot like on forests. It does a lot of work for me here.
So it
And
looks
if he's
like,
just taking an easy engagement, like there's no reason to not fight this. Like,
yeah.
what am I gonna have realistically that's gonna punish him for this?
Yeah, it looks like he's doing great, but that Typhoon's about to come in. And then a Block Rock, so 2 supers in a row.
Yes. I'm about to be 20% take everything away from you, take 20% from you, and then I'm going to be Block Rock Jake, which are two very good COs, which is much better than the terrible COs I've been playing all game, which is my air units suck and I get 10% attack sometimes.
Yeah, so your opponent built a medium tank. Probably thinking like you've got some heavy vehicles because they're probably thinking the same thing you are. Is
I
that?
think he's actually thinking I'm going to build a bunch of tanks.
Oh,
Just because
okay.
it's my strong side, I can build lots of tanks to reinforce, and I lost a bunch of tanks last turn. I think it's reasonable to assume that. It's still a decent buy into a medium tank I build or something like that. But I think it's probably anticipating tanks. Though of course I don't know what my opponent's thinking.
Oh, okay. Because I thought medium tank plus artillery is good against defending against like neo tanks.
So it definitely is, and honestly, the medium tank on its own is pretty good if you can first strike the Neo.
Okay.
Um, And honestly, even just like he could be Javier and just use his power, and my Neo can't really hit it anyway.
Right.
So it can deal with Neos. My guess is it's for the tanks, because he's probably anticipating a lot of tanks coming in, and a medium tank just laughs at tanks and eats them. So
I got you.
it does double duty here, but I'm guessing it's for tanks. Definitely will shut down a Neo if I'm not careful.
Okay. Oh, so bringing the recon over here. Did you like take this fight mostly for the vision?
Yes. So remember, you mentioned it in your intro here. Um, Drake is ignores rain except for the vision drop, right?
Oh,
So I want to see what I can see, and the damage to the infantry doesn't matter. Like it could be at 8, I'm not one-shotting it. So
right.
I'm gonna take the hit first regardless, just to see what's there.
I got you. Sweet. I'm just glad I was right about something. And there's the typhoon. So you have to do the obligatory scoreboard check.
At 10.5.
Yes, and goes to okay. You pick up that and goes to 82. Okay.
Couple weird things here,
Okay.
because of my vision gets dropped. So remember, I can't see that artillery anymore on
Right.
the left side. My
Oh,
recon
this one.
has 4 vision. But that's okay. My plan actually isn't even to hit the artillery, because I don't want him to get that capture.
Right.
So my tank and my infantry have to clear that. So my tank goes there, so he can't artillery strike me.
That's smart.
And I have the copter backup, which is great because next turn I'm not going to be Drake. I'm going to be Jake. So my copter is a normal copter.
That's true. And you're kind of blocking for it from the anti-air. I wonder
Yeah,
if
he
it had
probably
the
doesn't have
movement.
vision of it unless he moves like a recon really far forward, but I don't think he has one because if he did, it would have to be in that forest. But even if it was in the forest, it wouldn't see my copter because it's just too far away. Plus, the rain reduces the vision even more. So I'm not too worried about it hitting my copter there.
Oh,
Um,
right. Because infantry attacking the 6 to maybe perhaps clear that wouldn't give you the vision of the copter.
yeah, the copter is 3 vision away from the infantry, which only has 1 vision in rain.
I gotcha. Okay, see? I'm like learning on the fly. I'm getting better though. I'm trying not to be a brick, but thanks for bearing with me. This
So
is high level. Go ahead.
notice here I swapped to Jake, which allows me to build up charge again. And notice my positioning on my vehicles on the right side. I'm positioning them for a block rock. So
Right.
I'm positioning them with me getting 2 more movement next turn.
I gotcha. So you like dance out of his range, and then you use your block rock to be able to get all the first strikes.
Yep.
All right, and but not going down without a fight. The Javier, is it activate the
It's
super?
bugged. He doesn't
Uh,
have a power on.
I was about to say like I don't remember that. Like where did he get that super?
Yeah, so he's just chilling. There's no point in like using it even if he did have it active because he's not fighting that much.
Right.
Okay, so I'm Jake here, and I'm in a little bit of a pickle because I have to super this turn. If I don't super this turn, I have to stay as Jake, which is not a good idea. Or I
Right.
swap to Drake, and then I get super overcharged as Jake.
Right.
So I have to super.
I see.
And then the second thing is, I can't strike with my Neo tank or my tank below the forest on the right side until I super, because that tank is supposed to clear the 8 HP tank, which then lets my Neo clear the tank on the road next to it.
I see.
So I have to get to my super without using either of those 2 vehicles. So that's a bit of a tricky
Let's see. You
process.
need um
Not that much charge,
3.2k.
3K, but I can't use 2 of the vehicles that would give me a lot of the charge.
Right. You could maybe take this tank shot here.
And I could do that. Problem is that's just saying bye bye tank for no reason. And I
Okay.
want my copter to go in there and hit that tank on the planes. Because remember, Jake gets plane boosts from his air unit still.
Oh, right.
And then my tank afterwards can follow up hit something getting vision. I don't know if he's got like a recon there. My recon could potentially clear his infantry as well, and then my tank could hit his artillery. So there's a lot of options. So I don't want to
Okay.
use that tank either or that copter because they don't clear without the super.
I
So I
see.
have very little vehicles I can actually use to get charge.
Maybe some of these like low HP ones you can sack them, or these infantry you can
Basically, that
attack
is
the
what I have
tank.
to do.
Oh, and this. Yes. The
So that gets me
anti-air
a
will
little
get
bit.
a little bit.
Yeah. 2
What's that?
HP tank. I'm hoping I get revenge damage. I don't want like I want to take 1 HP damage on my tank here.
Right, yes, you
Uh,
get that 700 charge.
yeah, unfortunately I don't get it, but fine. I'm taking a horrendous engagement just trying to get some charge.
Yeah.
Um, Getting some there, and then
Got it.
go back.
Okay.
So how much charge am I off by? I'm off by exactly 400.
Wow.
So that
Wow.
recon that's been sitting in the woods, giving me all that intel, its final act of service is getting me the 400 charge to get my Black Rock.
That recon is the real MVP, man.
That
That's
recon got 2 Best Buy gift cards actually.
yeah, that's
So
insane. Okay. So now you clear out the 8 HP tank and then the tank on the road like you said. Nicely done. And then you're going to hit that to 1 HP. Recon
Yeah, I was hoping it
finishes.
would clear. I missed the roll.
Uh,
It is what it is. Um, so I'm not able to clear it, and I just go for that recon. Might as well get some damage off. I'm gonna switch back to Drake next turn. If he kills that stuff, it's just gonna be more charge for my next super, and it's also gonna force all of his vehicles to fight those units, and my infantry can cap that neutral city on the left
oh,
uh,
nice.
behind it.
That's
So
uh,
that's my
that's some good long-term vision right there. Yeah, going for the cap. Dang, I'm learning so much, dude. This is awesome. Um, maybe I can win a fog game.
and
Uh,
also taking stock of how the map state is right now. So all I got to have some videos about this, which is how to know if you're winning in fog.
oh yes.
So first off, I actually know I'm ahead on income right now because I know I'm at 22K and I only see one neutral city. So that means my opponent probably has 21K or worse. I'm guessing they have 21K. So I'm actually 22K to 21K. So I actually have the income lead. That is a great spot for me to be in.
Oh yeah, of course. Then you can just stall out and you just eventually win the game.
Yes.
But yeah, your stuff over here is gonna get unfortunately cleaned up as the
Completely
copter
destroyed.
artillery can do
Tank and
that.
copter for tank and recon. It's actually a losing trade for me. But he doesn't have vision or the units in range to stop me from getting the cap.
True.
So I got that city, which is my whole goal.
And you got a bunch of charge too.
And I got a bunch of charge.
Tower shield though online, almost a super. But I don't think the
So
super
yeah,
is worth
another thing
it.
I'm doing is I'm actually trying to not give him a good power.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to give him not too many engagements per turn, um, because if I don't give him that many engagements, he can power and hit a couple things, but that's not going to give him that much benefit, right? Like he can hit a couple things, clear a couple things, but it's not going to really be worth using 3 bars on that
Right.
and then not getting power again. So I'm trying to just give him little bits and pieces so I can keep getting charge, um, but make it a really bad power for him.
I got you.
And again, I'm at 23K now to his 21K. I don't have to fight, right? I don't have to do anything. I can just sit back, sit in my properties, win the game on day limit. And if he keeps fighting me, I'll win it through my power usage because I'll just have more stuff, more money, more power charge.
I got
I
you.
do go for this cap here,
Yeah,
and that's purely to make him fight me. I'm
I
hoping he
see.
sends a tank in. I know he doesn't have any infantry in range. At least I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any infantry in range. Um, I just want him to send stuff, and then he's going to get smacked by a Neo, by a tank, by anti-air. Um, I really don't think I can cap the city. I'm just trying to make him fight me there.
That makes sense. I've been noticing that too in games. It's like whenever you're capturing a city, like a forward city, it's always like saying that you want to fight because they can just go in and interrupt it. And like if you don't want to fight, then you just have to back off.
Yep.
Hopefully that made sense. It made sense in my head.
Yeah, I mean, my opponent doesn't have to fight me, but the way to make them have to is by saying, if you don't fight me, I'm getting this.
Right.
So
And and your opponent
I'm
needs
going
the
back
income
right,
lead.
and he can't super here because what's he gonna hit? Nothing is in range, right? He can hit
Right.
my infantry. Okay, so he again has a really bad super, a really bad CO power, and then everything I have is still in range to covering that infantry. So I take a very very defensive posture, and I say, all right, I have income lead, fight me.
Right.
But on my properties. I'm not fighting on your properties. I'm not fighting on your half. Fight me on my half.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I need to get better at like kind of seeing these kind of strategies. So this is amazing. And going in, taking out the infantry, but you got the city. You got what you wanted. Now all you have to do is just play defense.
Yep.
I'm gonna mirror your capture over here. Ooh, looks like gearing up for a fight, but those Drake powers taking their toll on the copters. They're 25 fuel and 17 fuel, and they use 3 per turn.
I forget how much they use per turn. I think 3 is correct.
Okay.
They're probably not going to crash before they get killed by anti-air.
Right.
But yeah, they're definitely not happy.
Yeah, and then you can even like use this regular power to drain that fuel even more, like immobilize them if they don't have any fuel.
So you could. Probably what would happen if they're getting close to that is he would just join them. So
Oh,
they would
okay.
combine their fuel together and then get the funds back. Um, so I don't really want a normal power just because I'm doing it for damage mostly.
Okay.
So I actually do get that cap off because he actually had nothing in range to interrupt it besides a tank, and he didn't want to sack a tank to stop the cap,
I got you.
which I was very happy to get. I'm a bit surprised how much he moved away from his weak side. His HQ is essentially completely wide open.
Yes, it is.
If I had full vision, I would just go straight barreling down towards that HQ and cap it, and there's nothing he could really do about it. But I don't have full vision. I have no idea what's there. I'm assuming he has some stuff in the area, and it's kind of boneheaded for me to try and push in there. Because I'm guessing there's some stuff behind it, and he would expect me to try and go for the throat. And then that would be very good super on his end, or very good CO power on his end. So I don't want to do that.
I got you. What do you think about like sending in this 5 HP recon to like this square or something just for the vision? You can see what's around the HQ. And then if he takes it, you were kind of okay with the fight here anyway because you were capturing.
So I could do that, but the main things I don't know about are what he built on that airport. I'm
Okay.
expecting a bomber, and then I don't know what he built on his base. I'm expecting a Neo or something like that. So
Okay.
and then I'm expecting a couple light tanks in the area, which would be probably a little bit outside of recon range there, basically around his cap city. I'm expecting them to be around there.
Okay.
So I probably wouldn't see anything anyway. Like I would expect to see nothing if I do that, but I would expect stuff to be ready to go outside of the vision range
I got you.
because he didn't
Okay.
have to worry about me being like Sami and Victory marching and sitting on his HQ and winning.
Right.
Um, he knows I don't have any infantry in HQ range right now, but I have the threat and the potential of doing that. I just don't yet. Um,
I got you. So he's going for something here, and he's kind of daring
yeah,
you to
he's not
go for
going to
the
get that.
interrupt.
He can force a fight there, and it's actually a decent fight for him because I can't clear it. I can only hurt it, and then he
Okay.
can sit a medium tank or a tank on it, and it's going to be a tough fight for me. Plus,
Right.
he's forcing the fight back to his strong side and onto my weak side. So
That's true. Yeah.
a decent move on his end to do this. In fact, I think a good play. I'm a bit surprised about how wide open he's leaving his HQ, but maybe if I start pushing too hard into it, he could, counterplay it.
So
So I just go
this.
for an interrupt. I
Okay.
just want to leave it as low as possible. I don't want it to have any chance of going through, because it'll be really hard for me to flip that back.
Right. Yeah. I guess if you can commit as few resources as possible to interrupting this, but I don't like. I think this is a winning fight for him long term because he's got
Definitely.
defense and all these vehicles.
And he can back-to-back CO power.
That's
So
true.
it's just going to be a really, really tough fight if I'm going to go for it.
And then, am I correct in saying that terrain stars defense scales with HP, but like 10% defense from Javier power does not scale with HP?
Correct. So
Okay.
when Javier CO powers, he just has flat 30% defense. Doesn't matter how much HP you have, 30% defense. And if you're sitting on a city, that terrain star scales based upon your HP. So you're getting 30% from your CO power, and then you'll get like 30% scaled depending on HP.
I got you. Um,
Another arty shot. I don't think that was a boneheaded play by me. I didn't know the arty was there, but I think he's had pretty good arty positioning in general. Um, Made good use of them.
yeah, for sure. And now the medium tank's gonna sit on the city,
Yeah,
like you
I can't
said.
fight that medium tank. Even my Neo tank hitting that medium tank with his CO power up, it will do very little.
Yeah,
Um,
20 or that's be like 50% defense.
60
60. Oh wow.
percent defense. So it's just like that's not gonna go well for me if I try and fight that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, starting this, and that's gonna have 60% defense as well.
Yeah, so if I attack his medium tank from a plane, I'll do 30% to it, and it'll hit me back for 36 to 40%. So I
Dang,
actually just lose the trade.
that's
So it's just
wild.
not a good idea.
Oh my gosh, that defense is broken. Um, so I think your opponent had a really good power here because your opponent was able to take back all this territory. Didn't get the cap, but took a lot of territory, took some infantry down, and is threatening this. Has a threat on the HQ as well.
It's a very good power defensively. He didn't do much damage with it, but it stops me from doing anything in return.
Right.
And then he can power again next turn. So he kind of has two free turns where I can't really do anything to him.
I got you. Okay, going for the interrupt. Wow, only did 2 damage with that 60% defense.
Yeah, I'm just trying to delay things, get some vision. Um, so this Neo tank here might seem a little weird. Like, why am I putting my Neo tank when I know he's got a medium tank right there in range. He can CO power me again next turn. Like, what am I doing?
Right.
I want to hit that copter with my anti-air, and if he does hit my tank, my Neo tank with his medium, I'm gonna get a lot of charge. Um,
Okay.
I also very, very optimistically wall off that city with my infantry, but like that's just he could kill the infantry. So you'll see I'll clear the copter with my anti-air, which I know has no wall because of my copter getting vision. And then that that infantry sitting on the road is like, "You shall not pass. You're not getting on this city." That medium tank is laughing because there's a tank right there on the forest that's gonna like just one shot my infantry. There's infantry in the forest that's gonna one shot it. Infantry up on the plains, they're all like laughing at my infantry. Like, what is this guy doing? He thinks he's on the team. Like, he's just gonna die, and then I'm gonna hit the neo tank from the city. Like, this is another brick play. I don't know why I thought he was not gonna be able to clear that infantry on a road.
Well, that's definitely something I would do. Um,
But luckily, I built another medium, and I'm shifting my Neo tank over. And if he clears that Neo tank and hits it really hard, I'm gonna have super, which I'm happy to get super again.
yeah,
So at least
yeah.
there's an
You're
upside. We'll say it's stacking for the charge yet again.
the 25k away. I think is pretty close.
Yes.
Or it's like a little bit above that. And then activating the power again. So 2 turns of power. Oh, with
Yep.
that extra attack.
Helicopter. This infantry did absolutely nothing, and I get a 5-9 trade. Like, it's so bad, and then he's gonna try and kind of block in my Neo tank and not give it really any good targets. It's not good for that Neo tank.
Yeah, this is a really good power from him.
Very, very good, and I really can't hit him back.
Okay,
So
so you just did this to try and like see what's in this forest and see what's over here. See if the HQ is
yeah, I wanted to see what he built in the base,
okay.
and if there's anything in the forest, what's in the area. And I see absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, if I moved it one to the right, I could have seen that copter, but like there was no reason I would think the copter would be exactly there, so I don't begrudge myself
And
that.
you want to peek this forest, right?
I did want to peek the forest. That's why I did it, to see if there was like a artillery there or something.
Okay.
That's why I did it. If the forest wasn't there, I probably would have been one space to the right. But yeah, this recon it's just being sent out to die and just see what's going on.
Right, but yeah, it's worth it. I mean, that's like 2,000 funds of value, and you do the reduced vision for your opponent. For I guess it's for both of you, but since you already saw everything, you could do
Yeah.
like print screen on the thing, and then like always be able to remember where everything was.
Yeah, and in fact, what you can do, this is a tip, you don't have to like print screen. You can just go to your replay at all times, even when the game is ongoing, and you can see what you saw at different points in the game, just to
Oh,
remind yourself. So that's often what I'll do. Is I'm like, oh, where was this thing? Okay, it was there. It moved here last turn. Things like that. So you can remind yourself of things with that.
yeah. I knew you could do that. I just didn't realize it could be like in the middle of a turn that's still ongoing.
Yeah, so sometimes if I power too early or like move a recon and forget where stuff is, I can just go back to earlier in my turn and see like, okay, this was here, and so on.
I got you. Yeah, so you're definitely winning the information battle, and taking that out. The tank might get it, but then you can trade it out with your tank or the Neo tank.
And moreover, I can cap this city. He's
Yes,
not he's not breaking through that.
you got a
Um,
4K income lead now.
yeah, and then he's not going to get my city in the center, and he's not going to get it on the right either, on the left either. Um, so I don't completely clear, but like I have too much stuff in range,
Ooh,
and the Neo tank just
nice
pieces
save.
out, and it's just going to sit on the HQ. And I think that infantry, the 6 HP, I think it still has 10 capture points, so I didn't need
Yes,
to rush to clear it.
yes. This is a really good super turn. You followed up his power turn with a really good super turn. You're gonna be
And then I swap back to Jake.
6 cities ahead, and let's see, you're gonna need um what's like 27,000.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna get another super before I swap back to Drake. I'm probably gonna swap to Drake next turn, but um,
You're getting a
just
ton of charge,
getting some good charge here.
but not gonna go in on that Neo tank. It's probably a good idea. I don't even know if it had the movement anyway. One,
Yeah,
two.
I don't think he has vision of it, and there's
Oh,
just no point. Like he's
yeah.
not gonna clear it this turn. He's not gonna start capping the HQ. So his objective are those two cities he's capping, and he then swaps to Sami,
Uh-oh,
which
victory
is
march coming in.
very close to victory march. And even if he doesn't victory march, let's say I leave him alone in fear of victory march, he's getting both those caps because now he has Sami capture bonus.
I got you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You have to knock this thing down to, see, 12. Like a,
Anything less than 8, but like I have to
oh,
wall
okay.
break it and then not leave my HQ exposed.
Right. That's true. Yeah, because then victory march on the HQ, and then yeah. Okay, this is. But you're gonna
So
get these takeouts. Go ahead.
yeah, so if you remember something that I believe it was Punch said when he was doing a replay with you was he talked about the difference of unit value and how much something's worth, right?
Right. Yeah.
So infantry only worth like 1k. And in fact, like 2 HP infantry, 1 HP infantry, those are worth like nothing, 200, 100.
Right.
But what is it doing in that position in this context of the game state? He's Sami about to get a super. A 1 HP infantry is as good as a 10 HP infantry, which in this position is insanely powerful.
Right.
So I could get vehicle hits off, I could attack tanks, I could attack artillery, whatever, but I'm choosing to hit infantry. Why? Because the less infantry he has, the less options he has, and the safer I am.
I got you. Yeah, that makes
Also,
sense.
um, look at my vision on the left side. I
Okay.
see very little, right? I don't
Right.
have much that gives me vision. I have a medium tank, which gives one vision. A neo tank gives one vision. Really, all my vision's coming from my two recons, and they're kind of far back, right?
Right.
So I feel in a very good spot in general if the game stays how things are, right? I'm up 25k to 19k. Probably he's going to cap one or two properties and be 20k to 24k or 21k to 23. I'm fine with that.
Right.
How can I lose this game?
Victory march.
Exactly. So if he can clear my Neo tank, GG, game over. I lose. There's literally nothing I can do if he clears that Neo tank.
Right.
So I know he's got like no artillery in range, but what could he have? He could have a Neo tank. He could have a bomber. He could have many things. And I was looking this turn, I was looking at the calcs, and I was like, if he supers and sacks some 8 HP tanks into my Neo tank, and then a Neo tank comes in, depending on the rolls and the luck, I think he can clear the Neo tank.
Oh wow.
So I start, quaking in my boots. Of course, anyone looking at the replay here and seeing full vision, they're like, What are you scared of? There's nothing that can clear that Neo tank this turn.
Right.
But I'm really concerned because I haven't seen a lot of his value, which is that Neo tank that's a little farther back.
Yeah.
Um, and I just think it's basically one turn closer or two turns closer. So what do I do here? I pop beat down at the end of my turn.
For the 10%
Why?
defense?
10% defense. If I pop that beat down, it's a lot harder for him to clear that 7 HP Neo. Now, this is comical for anyone who has vision. In fact, my opponent even messaged me after that turn. He's like, was that a misclick? Or like, what are you doing? And I was like, look, man, I don't know what you have back there. And it turns out nothing. But I was terrified he was going to victory march me and find a way to break through the Neo tank and I lose.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, it is looking really scary over here if you can't see like what's over here. So
And also, this is really bad for me, not only because I just wasted Jake's power for like potentially no reason, just because I'm scared he might have enough stuff. I'm also getting zero charge because my
oh,
power is
right.
active and I'm sitting as Jake.
Does Drake get charged while Jake has
No,
power?
once you use a power, if your power is active, neither of your COs get charge.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I but that's good to know because I need to learn more about tags. Uh, did you get
So I knew
trapped
that
here? Or was
infantry
this
was in the
mostly like
woods.
scouting it? What?
Yes, I knew the infantry was in the woods, and I
Okay.
didn't want an infantry within 5 movement of my HQ. So I'm gonna clear that.
Right. Yeah, so you're going scorched earth, trying to take out as many infantry as possible.
Yes. Just anything within range of HQ needs to die. Any infantry just in general need to die. I don't want any infantry around. I'm sitting on my cities. I'm like, look, if you're gonna cap my properties, you need to like really work for it. Um, I kind of misplay on the right here.
Okay.
I don't need to go as hard as I do. I kind of just wanted to see like, does he have anything? Can I just HQ cap him? It seems like there's way too much stuff on the left side. But at this point, he's built enough reinforcements to be in range. Really, what I should have done is just stayed the course there. Just sat on my properties, said, if you're going to cap them, you need to really commit to breaking my units on these cities. Um, there was not really good reason to go in here. I should have just sat back.
I got you. Um, but it's good pressure. But yeah, I don't know if you'll win some of these trades, especially if the anti-air gets taken out. Then these copters are free.
Yeah, and as you can see, there's two tanks in range. Of course, I don't know that. I see the one tank. The vision is actually bugged, but I do see the tank on the city.
Okay.
But I don't know the tank in the forest, obviously, and I do see that copter. I don't see the second one. It's not a good attack. I already know that from what I've seen there. Luckily, I can be Drake, and when he hits me for a lot, I can have a power ready to go.
All right, and the victory march, but your
Yes.
properties look a lot safer.
On the left side, they're pretty safe. On the right side, there are two caps he can do fairly easily.
Yeah, this one and this one.
Yeah, exactly.
But would you say that victory march is worth it for two caps, or it's like he's never going to be Sami again? So you just might as well get these two caps and just be Javier the rest of the game.
So I think he's just frustrated because he's had to sit as Sami for like 2 turns now. And he's like, I don't want to be Sami anymore.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's like, I'm gonna get this power off. I'll get two caps. And hey, if he gets two caps and he holds that for the rest of the game, he wins. 23K to 21K, right?
That's right.
Um, but I think he's just like, it's gone on. I'm tired of being down in income. I'm tired of being Sami. I want to be Javier and I want to beat you up again. So I'm gonna just get what I can get here.
Yeah, but it looks like going to get a lot of good value off of those engagements right there.
Yeah.
Traps the tank and takes out the anti-air. And then over here on the left, going to take out the recon with the help of the artillery. And going to actually target some of your infantry. Clears them out. Yeah, the vision's kind of weird here, but definitely, but spots these two.
Yeah, I mean, I think he knew that was there anyway, just from like me moving it through vision and fighting with them. Um, and I think this is when he throws in the towel.
Yep.
So think about why he does this. Why do they forfeit here? So
Guessing it's because the income, like, just you have income parity, which is good for Drake.
yeah, so he's not that far ahead in income. He just used his Sami super, which he's never gonna have again, right? It's day 21, goes until like day 35 if
Okay.
we go to day limit. And he's gonna be Javier most of the time, spamming CO powers, not getting any charge. He's not gonna Victory March again. So the Victory March HQ threat is completely gone for the rest of the game. I don't have to play as defensive as I'm playing right now.
I got you.
Second, he knows I have a full HP Neo sitting right below that 8 HP tank, and an about to be full HP Neo sitting on my HQ. He is
Right.
going to get counterattacked insanely hard on that left side and lose like his entire value. And I'm going to be close to supering again. So he's basically just going to have like his 3 tanks and 2 copters on the right side doing nothing. I'm going to cap back probably 2 or 3 properties on the left side, maybe eventually get the properties on the right side, and it's just not going to be a good time for him, right? If he buys his units, he's going to end the turn 20k down, and I'm going to get a super probably next turn or the turn after and clear out everything on his left side. So
I
I
got
think it's
you.
actually all resigned. When he resigned, I messaged him like, "Why'd you resign?" And then I refreshed the page and I was like, "Oh, you actually have literally nothing on the left side. Okay." I thought he had like another Neo coming in or like, some reinforcements going on, but I guess I should have known from like all the copters and tanks he had on the right side that he couldn't have had anything more on the left.
Yeah, do you like eyeball the value? Like, do you like look at like the KD in the stats menu and figure out, okay, this is how much value they should have based on what I see and like where things could be?
I basically just kind of eyeball like again what I have. It's like, okay, I have 3 tanks here. They could have 3 tanks on the other part of on the mirrored side of the map, right?
Okay.
That's kind of my general eyeball. Of course, some things can change here, right? So like if he's Javier versus my Drake, I'm probably just gonna have less healthy units because our engagements aren't gonna be even. So he's probably just gonna come out ahead. So he might net like 1 tank or 2. But yeah,
Right.
I can take a look at units lost and see like, okay, I've lost 1 more tank than him. I should expect, 1 more tank in this area.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
So you could like count all this value that you can see and be like, this is probably the entire army right here.
Yeah, so if you're a better and more meticulous player than me, you can keep a spreadsheet of your opponent's income every turn, the units you've seen, how much value they've lost, what they've spent on repairs, all that. You can do a lot of this stuff and estimate to a much better degree. Um, and maybe you should do that at the highest level. Like, I'm not the highest level player. I'm in D1, but I'm like one of the worst players in D1. Um, I'm very happy that I got 2 wins. I'm very happy I managed to beat Dark Raider. They're a very good player. When I saw matches against them, I'm like, all right, well, I made it to round 2. I'll see you guys later. We'll see how this goes. So I'm very happy I managed to win this one out. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's very fun to keep spreadsheets. I kind of just want to play
Right.
the game more live-ish. I don't like spending too long at Move Planner. So I kind of just eyeball it generally like, okay, what do I have? What could they have? And then a bit of like just intuition, just from playing enough games, you can kind of just feel like, okay, they should have about this much stuff from previous experience, essentially.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm sure if you play games on this map before, you kind of know how it plays.
Yeah, I think I've actually not played any games in this before, but I've
Okay.
seen some replays.
Right.
There've been several reviews of it. Alagatua has a great 2.5 hour video talking about this map and giving a lot of overview. And then he also had a video of his matchup on this map, though. His was much more wacky than this. I would say I would say this is a more typical example of how the matchup might go.
I got you. Ugh. Sorry, my like nose is just bothering me, so I'm like sniffing the whole time on the mic. I apologize for that, but Do you have any like final thoughts about this game? I thought this is a really high level game, and I learned so much about fog and like these how these like minor mistakes just can have big ramifications.
Yeah, so I think my opponent and I both played it pretty well. I think my opponent had really good RD positioning and maybe even had a slightly better opener, though I did end up with netting a few more properties just from um, my positioning a little aggressively. I think his main mistake legitimately was just too many RDs too early.
Okay.
He was building them while we were still in the capture phase, and that's not really going to do anything because it's not going to prevent me from capturing a property. Really, what you can use it for is holding onto a property you shouldn't be able to have,
Okay.
or pushing into an area you shouldn't be able to push into. So
Okay.
they're either a very defensive unit or a long term offensive unit.
Okay.
They're not a short term aggressive unit, which in this matchup, as the just bully CO, meaning he can just fight me on day to day basis and come out ahead,
Right.
he should look for the income lead and really just be building tanks and recons and a couple copters and just say, we're going to be in a game state where I get 24K and you get 20K and you're going to be happy with it. And if you complain too much, I'm going to bring you down to 19K to 25K. How about that?
Mhm.
And if he does that, I have no play. I'm losing that match. There's just nothing I can do.
Right.
Maybe I would have been able to play positionally safe enough to be 21K to 23K or so. But I really think the RDs really hurt him. They gave him
Okay.
good value, but they didn't prevent me from doing the most important thing, which is getting money. As global damage COs and really any power based CO, all you care about is money.
That makes
As
sense.
Drake, Olaf, and uh, Hawk, all I want is money. Just give me money. I will sack units. I will sack anything, and I will just get tons of money. And then my power just gives me free value without even having to think about it. This is why I love global damage COs. You don't have to think. You just click the button and you say, I am getting a good super. You don't have to look at the board. You don't have to know what your opponent has. You don't have to think about what attacks you can get off. You say, I'm getting value for free. There's nothing they can do about it. So that's why I like them because you don't have to think about it. You don't have to look at whether it makes sense, right? Javier has to think about, am I going to get reasonable engagements to make a super, a CO power worth it?
Right.
I don't have to think like that. I have to be like, okay, my power's ready. Click. The only thing I have to think about is, do I need vision or something first? If I'm Olaf, I don't even have to think about that. If I'm Hawk, maybe I do a couple engagements first to heal, but that's it. Um, Other CEOs that are more stally, like Eagle, not that I'm the best Eagle player, but I'm actually really bad at playing Eagle. Um, they care about money, but more about unit count actually.
Right.
So um, with global damage COs, they can have no army or very little army as long as they can hold on to their properties and just keep hitting you with super after super after super. You can't play. So my whole goal was just to get close to even income. Even is ideal. Ahead is amazing, and then I get value from supers and just play really defensively, and make it frustrating for him to push in.
I got
Um,
you.
I wouldn't have gone with the global damage CO if I didn't feel like this map had so little contested income.
That makes sense.
You saw it. It was pretty hard for either of us to get too far ahead, and even
Yeah.
if you did, it was pretty easy to cap back.
Yeah. For sure. Well, thanks so much for coming on. It's a bit of a long one, but I enjoyed every second of it, and yeah, this is really fun. Uh, Hopefully, we can see see more of these kind of guests on the channel. And feel free to submit replays. You can use the Google form in the description box, and I'll see you in the next one.